Hello, everyone. This is Chris Anderson here, and today I have my special guest, as always,
Hannah.
And today we're going to be talking about the Blind Prophet. Not much really going on behind the scenes here, so we'll just jump straight right into it. So, the Blind Prophet is an indie game that was on a Kickstarter, developed by. Actually, I'm not going to bother trying to pronounce the name because it's a tongue twister for me. It's an indie game where it's a click and point adventure game in the style of a graphic novel called The Blind Prophet. And our first impressions of it was pretty good. I would say it was pretty good, if I'm correct.
Oh my god. If it's one artist that did this all the art, holy crap. Beautiful. I love the art style.
Yes, the art style was probably what captivated me the most.
The colors,
the coloring, the black strokes. It was like so. The game, this entire game was eye candy from start to finish. I don't think there was actually a single bad frame in there.
No.
There's a lot to love about this game. There is, but at the same time, there is a couple of things that we don't like, but we will get to those later. But first things first, let's just gush about the game. Let's gush about it first.
Yeah, like Christian said, we immediately, like the moment we saw the intro or the pictures showing it off, we were like, ooh, something's interesting with this one. And we were correct. Like the story, the character, there's so much things about it that is so new yet not. And there was variety, and there was so much things. But when certain bad stuff that, when we talk about the good and the bad, and then we have to go into spoiler territory to talk about honestly what sabotaged it.
Yeah, so everything, like the story, the music, everything's complemented by this very gorgeous art style.
Oh my god,
it's very well done. Every single frame, the character designs are really cool. But I guess we should talk a little about the story. Let's give a plot synopsis of what the game's about, so we don't leave everyone in the dark. So the Blind Prophet is about Apostle, God's angel, God's warrior, something like that. I'm not too familiar on the Christianity lore or whatever. I'm not too familiar about that.
Basically, imagine him kind of like an angel that fights, but he is he's like a stronger human, but he can get hurt and stuff can happen to him.
Okay, yeah. So that's the big introduction. That's what he is
so
essentially.
Basically, when hell basically is too much on Earth, he sends his soldiers and stuff.
Yeah, he sends Apostle, who is his name is Bartholomeus. I think Bartholomeus, but we're gonna call him Barth just to make it simple. Barth. And so he's sent there because something's going wrong again in this small little town of Rotborg, and there's an entire name for the entire city, but I can't think of the top of my head. I know a good drawing. Gorbey and Rotborg. There we go. Gorbey and Rotborg. I think the entire place is called. And and as your time goes on, the mystery starts unraveling of what's going on. You meet first, it starts off with this woman. By the way, before we even get further, there is a lot of dark subjects in this game.
And
so
bugs.
And
bugs.
Yeah, and bugs too. But so if you're uncomfortable with some dark subjects, then I recommend clicking away because this game's not going to be for you. But if you are completely fine with that and you want to hear about it, cool, stick around. We're going to jump right into it. So at the beginning of the game, there's this guy who's completely crazed and he wants to rape this woman, essentially. He wants to do that. And the guy, of course, our guy steps in, prevents that, chops off his arm, and the guy runs away. Apostle Barth, comforts her, and the game teaches you how to play from there. And so, let's talk about the story before we get into a bit of the gameplay. Mm-hmm. So, first off, the game starts off strong, very strong. It starts off very strong with the story. Throughout the entirety of the game, it has a good pace. And as time goes on, it gets interesting what's going on, how all these demons' plans are forming together, and these characters interacting. And it's a lot of fun to watch, and it's always engaging.
But we must talk about our first bug that we ran into.
Oh, yes, the first bug.
Yeah. Remember, when we first played, we didn't actually get all of the opening. We ended up starting just when the girl is getting attacked. We didn't get the opening scene where the character is floating on a boat and there's narrations to kind of give you an idea of what's going on and where, to give you a more idea who the heck you are and lead up to rescuing the girl. So we ended up getting the bug the first time around.
Yeah.
But you played it more than once, so...
Which we will get to that
later.
Yeah, we'll get to that later. So, as the story progresses, you explore more of the town, and on this entire town, it's very well drawn. It was a lot of fun to explore the town because it's so interesting to look at. Mm-hmm. And you encounter more characters, and you can pick some dialogue choices, which, let's be honest, some of the dialogue choices you pick don't really change the game that often. I know because I played the game multiple times.
Well, the thing is that there are choices that if you make the wrong one, it will kill you. So there is death scenes.
There is death scenes, but those are not important events. Most of the time when you're conversing with another character, no matter what you pick, you're going to get this essentially the same outcome. Different dialogue, but the same outcome.
But also, too, based off of your choices, sometimes you get more information in said question. So there is, if you want to play the game over and over, to get to know different results, you could do that. You
could, but honestly, to me, that's not really worth it. So yeah, there's that. It's a nice little thing you can do. Yeah, I guess that's fine, but it's a nice little thing. Apostle himself, I really liked.
Yeah.
He is. I think it's a British game. I think it's British. I think it is. Don't quote me on that, please don't. Because it's very much about the dark, dry humor this character has.
Oh my god, I love his humor.
Yeah, I want to talk about some certain scenes, which I think I'll save that for spoilers, because it's a bit of a fun scene. But yeah, sometimes the things that come out of his mouth, what he says and what he thinks is pretty funny.
Oh my god, yeah.
And also, what I love about his character is that most of the time he tells the truth, and everyone just laughs off like, oh, what a jokester you are. But no, he's serious. He's just telling the truth.
And I love his response, his facial expressions to, the fact that he's and it worked?
Yeah, and it worked. Everyone thinks he's joking about what he's saying. I'm going to do these horrible things to you. Oh, by the way, I've been alive for 2,000 years doing this and this and this. That's why I'm stronger than you. Everyone just laughs off his jokes. Nah, he was being serious. And I thought that always was funny. The guy was always... But the thing is, he's probably... His picture shows he's kind of being a little sarcastic about it, but at the same time, he's telling the truth.
He's trying to say it in such a way, but the fact that he gets away with it, even he's surprised, and I found that charming.
Yeah, he is a very charming character, but he is one also that you don't want to screw with.
Oh my god, no.
There's an early in the stage in the game where you essentially go to this place of prostitution, and it's all young girls, very young girls. And
that's a part that we may need to censor a little bit, because in the background there's a whole lot of...
I already did in the first encounter. I already did that.
Oh, okay, good.
So, but here, I don't think I'm going to show much of it in the video itself, or in this podcast. But yeah, there's a part where there's a prostitution going on, and our character, he absolutely hates this place. But like most people would, he hates this place. And the moment he has the opportunity to burn it down, he takes it. He'll find any excuse to do it, and he does. And I love it. It's you are great.
But, okay, let's not tell them too much.
We're not. That's just it's a light little spoiler, but it's nothing too much. Yes, but let's talk about the good qualities that we can try and say. Well, there's more characters to talk about. There's more characters to talk about.
That we can put in the good, and we could talk about.
So let's just go ahead and just talk about Vic, the other main character in the game, side character.
Oh, Vic.
The tattoo.
Yeah.
I like her. She's nice.
The one you rescue at the dock in the very beginning.
Yes, she's nice. She's kind of like a sidekick to him almost, giving him information at one point, helping him. She's fun to watch as well and read.
Yeah, I love the chemistry between the characters. How she's genuinely worried for him.
Yeah,
and he's touched by it, but he's I'm way older than you, and I'm. It ain't gonna work. He didn't say it, but I could tell that the girl really liked him. But the guy was trying in his own way to let her know, I can't grow old,
Yeah.
I'm a warrior of God, and it's Oh, I love the characters. I love the chemistry.
Yeah, the characters, most of the characters
even
now,
even the villain characters.
Even the villain characters were actually pretty neat too. I like the villain characters.
Yeah.
All of them, not too complex, but they are written in a way where of course the writing wants you to hate them, which it does its job. But not in an over the top way. It does in a way where like, yeah, I hate you. I can't wait to kill you.
But the thing that I love too is that every single boss you do fight is unique.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Every boss, the way they approach you, how intellectual they are or how manipulative they are, and how he has to save himself and battle and all that, each boss is so different and so interesting. Like the story, whoever does the story and the dialogue and the art and like the whole team, like you could tell this is a passion project. And it's done really, really well. And
yes, the
like
overall...
that's why, like, when we talk about the parts that hold it back, you're gonna hear the pain.
There's gonna be a lot of pain when we talk about that, but we'll get there very soon because there's actually a bit more of the story we'll talk about. So throughout the game, you hear about this guy named T, who's leaving notes and is trying to put your character out of commission for unknown reasons. You don't want to find out why until the end of the game, essentially.
And also, too, that he has something to do with his demon lords.
Yeah, demon lords, which the game does give you a little handy-dandy little note sheet of lore there. There's the Buzzlebeeb, the Leviathan, Batball, Amendo. Some of these names I just cannot pronounce for the life of me. Satan and Lucifer. Which, keep in mind, you're not going to fight all of them.
Oh yeah, that's spoiler.
That's not spoiler. It's not really not. I'm not going to tell you which ones I'm not going to fight. So, it's okay. But, yeah, so just keep that in mind. You're not going to fight all of them. It's just there. But, yeah, so anyways, let's be a bit vague about the villain. The secret villain, I guess you can say. Let's be a bit vague. Do you believe his motivations?
That is. Do I believe his motivation?
Yeah, his motivation.
But will that go into spoiler territory?
No, just keep it vague. Say, because I do want to talk about a little here, because I do like his motivation. I just wished there was a bit more development on him.
Okay, the thing that I could say, I guess that isn't spoiler, when it comes to the ending boss, his motivations and what he does, there's a reason, and it kind of makes you pick a side where you're like, are you on the side understanding the villain for what he's doing, or are you on the side of the character and the experience you went with him?
Oh,
and that's the thing that I really liked about that part, was it's like you got two characters in a battle telling their sides of the story of what got them to this point. And it really makes you think who's in the right, because both of them are like over 2,000 plus years old. They have saved the world countless.
Nope. That's going to be too much there.
Well.
Oh, got time for your alarm there.
But, like, sorry, my phone went off. Well, fine. You take over, because I'm just saying, like, I don't want to go to the spoiler territory, but I'm just saying, like, the way the characters are done, the backgrounds of the characters and certain stuff, thumbs up.
Okay, so
without spoilers, just thumbs up. It's wonderful.
Okay, so let me put it this way: every villain you encounter, they always try to come up with some sort of like reason why, like, oh, I'm not really evil. It's just the people doing it. Like the first boss in the game. She was like, oh, they just come to me. You're the one that's doing all the wrong. But the guy always, points out the flaws in their philosophies.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, no, you're on the wrong. Your lies and everything. But the last boss, he can't quite do that. I found that interesting. Like, he couldn't really retort against what he said. Only speaking on his own personal experience, I guess. But
I think the reason why is because the demons, they would lie and bullshit. He was straightforward and honest.
Oh yeah, definitely. Of course, all the demons were lying and bullshitting their way through it.
Yeah.
So the story overall, like, I don't want to say great. I don't want to because the moment we talk about the spoilers, that's why I don't want to use the word great anymore because it's a bit too much. The beginning was strong. The middle was strong. Good chunks of the ending was good. It's just the last part, the ending itself, which we won't spoil that until we actually get to the spoilers. But I'm going to let you guys know right now, the ending to this game is shallow and bitter. It is not fulfilling, and it just feels like they were rushed, and they were just like, oh, we got a deadline, got to get done. Bloop.
Yeah, it feels like things were cut out, things were rushed, and at the very ending, instead of leaving, like, having one heck of a ride all the way through, the way it ends is...
And also, there are, like, I believe, let's see here, there's that guy, and let's see here. There's, like, 3 plot lines that are introduced and teased at, but never addressed. This could be argued these plot lines are for a sequel. They plan to do one.
We don't know. Don't quote us on that.
Don't quote us on that, but...
Or they didn't maybe have time to.
Maybe they didn't have time because
I would love if they would patch and fill in the game. Because
yeah, so those 3 plot lines that we want to talk about is going to require us to go to spoiler territory, which we will after we talk about a bit of the gameplay, which we might as well jump in now because the overall story is good. It's just the ending and those 3 plot lines is what hold it back. So let's go and start jumping the gameplay. So the game's a point and click, not too much complex gameplay. You point, click, solve puzzles, and you have a little button for the eye thing to pick out things easier. You can't combine items to solve other things, and there's mini puzzles, and there's actually a variety of different gameplays that goes on here and there.
Oh, a bunch of mini games and puzzles,
which most of them are good. It's just there's one I absolutely despise for the life of me. I hate it. But. So, the overall gameplay is serviceable. Like, it's a point and click, and you like those type of games, like Deathmark, or even The Walking Dead, Telltale games, you will probably get a really good kick out of this.
Yeah, especially if you're into the dark nitty gritty.
Oh, definitely. And so, we explore, you solve puzzles, and a lot of them could be, the whole getting through point A to point B, the doors and stuff, that wasn't too hard to get through. But the puzzles themselves, I would say a lot of them were pretty fun to solve.
And some of them were very creative.
Oh, yeah.
Very creative. And from a person that loves doing puzzles in games, like, some of them you really had to think, and each puzzle was different than the last. It wasn't like a upgraded version of the previous puzzle. It was like, they had such variety of minigames.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Puzzles.
But some of the puzzles / minigames were really not like spectacular. Especially one of the first ones where you're trying to get like this network power back onto the computer, where like these dots are going down to this circle, whatever, center circle. You're supposed to move the cursor over it before it hits there. It's so simple, so easy.
Because it's so slow.
It's so slow, and it's just like, really, so not all of them are winners. Not all of them. There's one I absolutely do despise, which I'm going to get into right now. There's a part where I believe in the 3rd act, where you have to arm wrestle someone, and this minigame sucks. All you do is click when the circle is green, don't click it when it's red, and click it when it's green again. But I wouldn't mind it so much if it was fast, but no, it just goes on forever. It's so tedious.
Like imagine, like, it is basically like fighting a boss. You're taking inch after inch, but if you mess up, the boss gets a big hit on you and recovers a huge chunk, which drags it on forever.
It's like
it's like that's literally how it feels.
Yeah, it's
if they can
so
cut that
boring.
If they can cut that time down, like how small of chunks you take from him, they need to cut that down like by half, because that immediately takes the pace and just like stops it.
Yeah,
instead of it becoming enjoyable, it becomes like, ooh, this is taking way too long, and it's like not fair. At times, it's bullshit.
Yeah, it's not really fun. I wish they did something. I wish they said something. I wish they did something else besides.
Just cut. Like I said, cut the bar.
Just cut it in half. If they could at least cut it in half, it won't be as painful. But even still, then it's not really a fun mini game. So the overall, like I said, the puzzles themselves, a lot of them are good. A lot of them are really good. A lot of them
very creative.
So yeah, a lot of them are creative too. Some of the mini games, they're not hard. They're actually very easy. But I do
No, some of them, even you were stumped. It was because I figured out certain parts.
Not the puzzles, yeah, some of the mini games.
Oh, the mini games, yeah.
Some of the puzzles, yes, I got those stumped on. You figured it out. Congratulations.
Together, we beat it. and it was awesome.
Okay, so some of the mini games, these mini games, while I do appreciate the variety of gameplay to keep things interesting from the point and click and solve puzzle.
Yeah.
They're not very challenging. They're very easy to beat. None of them I failed. I've always beat all of them, usually on my first try.
Oh my god, you did a perfect run the first time through. No like real deaths.
Yeah, no real deaths. And also,
it was like,
dying in this game is also really hard. You have to I almost intentionally had to try to kill myself at times.
I think you ended up dying when we were experimenting with, I wonder what would happen if he said this instead of that.
Yeah.
Like, so there are death scenes.
And so the overall gameplay is serviceable and it's fine. It's a point and click with a variety of gameplay, which is not challenging, but it's a nice little pace breaker. Not pace breaker. It just gives it a bit more variety to do, so it's not so tedious all the time. But there is a problem with the gameplays. Some of the problems. The glitches, for example. Apparently, if you move really fast in the game, like you're clicking everywhere and stuff like that, the game will bug out. It will bug. Sometimes it'll freeze. It'll crash. Some things won't even work. The interface won't work at times.
Oh, I am so sad that we didn't get a recording of one of the visual glitches. Okay, there is a part, I don't remember what act, but you're going to have to scrape a wall.
Yeah, painting. When I was scraping it, and I was going really fast, the painting itself was like circling. All the textures were like circling around each other, going, oh my god.
It wasn't the paint, well, it wasn't just the paint part, it was the parts that were supposed to represent the scrape, the grays. Everything spun in like weird little block things and was jumbling around. By the time he was finished, he was wondering if it glitched, because like it just looked so weird, but we weren't able to catch that on video, and I'm so sad. Yeah, I know, it's a little funny glitch there, but yeah, there is some glitches in there that they need to patch out, and also there was a couple of grammatical errors. Not just that, misspelling.
I know, misspelling
and colors that are supposed to represent certain characters was in the wrong color font on and off. Yeah. So
it would break you out of immersion because you're really into the stories, and all of a sudden it's like, wait, that doesn't sound like something the character would say. That sounds like that belongs to that character, but they color coded it wrong. Yeah. And there's actually one part where you're on the bus talking to a girl. I'm not going to spoil who this girl is exactly. She was supposed to have some sort of dialogue, but the dialogue doesn't pop up. It just says like PNG 5. And I was like, I think there's supposed to be dialogue there. Oh! Before I forget, there was one other puzzle that did not work as it's supposed to. It was like a math puzzle of some sort. So there was an electric box, and you're essentially supposed to add it up and multiply it, There was one number in the bottom that showed you what number it's supposed to be. So the last number you have to reach is 84.
That's what it says.
That's what it says, but turns out the answer is actually 34. And I did the math with my calculator. I tried multiple various ways. To me, there was no way of getting to 84 with the combination you have. And the real answer is 34.
Yep.
And so, but it says 84, so that's incorrect.
Yeah, they need to fix that.
So a lot of players may be confused at the point. It's like, wait a second, hold on. That doesn't equal up to 84. That equals to 34. I know it's spoiling the puzzle, but honestly, you won't be able to figure it out unless I tell you, or you do it completely by accident like I did.
Or end up looking it up because it just does not add up.
Yeah, it doesn't add up. So, yeah, there's that. And there's one big glitch I did have with this game that made me pretty mad. Oh. When I quit out of the game, I start back up. And here's the thing. There is no save or load mechanic, really. You don't have any save files. The game saves automatically on its own. There's only one save file you have. First of all, I don't really like that. I prefer to have multiple save files. I prefer that. So when I quit out of the game. I was like, okay, let's come back to it. Let's play some more of it. The game started over. entirely over. Yes, we got to see the cutscene, the beginning cutscene.
The beginning that we missed.
The beginning we missed. But I had to start all over.
And mind you, he was like halfway through the game the first time around. It didn't make sense. He's exited the game before and picked up where we last left off. But the second time he did it, we had to start from the beginning. And it was like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, it was just like, it was... Another game did that to me before. It was called Agony. Does anyone remember Agony? Because it was surely agonizing. Ha ha! Terrible pun joke. Agony, this game is where you're set in hell. You have to essentially escape out of hell. It's very artistically wise. It's very good looking. The gameplay sucks, and the story is almost non-existent. But that's a game for another time. I think I was like the 75% way through the game, and the game crashed. And I lost my entire save data. And I was like, nope. I wasn't really having fun with the game anyway, so I had no intention of going back through it. But this one, I enjoyed it enough. I was like, fine, I'll play through it again. Because I do really like this game. I really do like it, so I'll put up with it. And so, there's also one more flaw with the gameplay, is that there really isn't much content to sink your teeth into. The game's $20. Which I guess that is a fair price point, I guess. But there isn't really much reason to go back and visit the game. So it makes a couple of dialogue options you can try differently. But other than that, there's not much options. There's no multiple endings. As far as I can tell, there's no multiple endings. There is none. And
I think we're going to be going in spoiler territory.
Which we will very soon. Let me just wrap this up. There's no secret hidden areas.
I think that's spoiler territory.
I will get to that in a moment. Like I keep saying, we'll get there. We get there when we get there.
Okay.
So yeah, there's just not much reason to go back and visit these games. They're more of like a one-time. You play it through. You had your fun. You're not gonna really go back through it again. Unless you want to see the different dialogue options you have. Go ahead. I guess that's some replay value. But that means very little to me because it's not gonna really change too much of the story itself. So, with that said, let's go ahead and jump into spoilers because that's where we have to talk about the...
Oh my god, finally.
Yes, I know, it's been eating this for the last 27 minutes, and it's just like, it hurts, it really does. What we're about to say hurts so much, because the overall game is great, but four things, let's see the ending. Yeah, about four things really hurt it. It does. The ending, the 3 plot points are never addressed, but they're teased a lot for some reason. Okay, so let's start with the plot points first, because before we talk about the ending itself. Yeah. Okay, so when we first start the game, you meet this mysterious guy who constantly, in a passive-aggressive way, says, "Oh, it hurts. See how it hurts to forget someone and not remember, He constantly passively aggressive, like he knows you, but he's mad that you don't remember him.
Basically, he's an elderly gentleman that has like black eyes with like glowing inner
blue eyes,
and he has like a scarf on.
Yeah,
and he's all like, "Oh, like we meet again," type thing, and your character's like, "Excuse you," and he's all like, "Oh, so you don't recognize me?" And that's teased throughout the game, but like you never
get a resolution to that story.
Nope. And he seemed very interesting. I'm very sad that like you can't like try to figure out who he is and why is he there. Like when you get to a certain point, you never see him again, and it's like I feel like it's a missed opportunity because he's so interesting. Like
yeah, he's interesting and like he helps you in certain areas like the padlock and a cross and give you some information about the manor. But no, he didn't help you get across that pit. That's where he says, "Screw it, you don't remember me, so I'm just gonna walk off now." And like he's never brought up ever again. You never see him again. I checked the entire map. I never found him.
Mind you, he's played the game a couple of times over trying to see
the game itself is about 6 hours long. About 6 hours long, but since the game crashed, it doubled the time almost doubled the time, not quite. But I did run through the game real quick again. Took about maybe like an hour or two to run through it. But while I was doing it, I was checking everywhere. I tried doing that whole little number pad secret passage thing at the before Rotborg. I thought that was like a secret. It's not. It's just a thing that's there. I believe it is. Correct me if I'm wrong, developer. But
he's talking about the area that has that tree that's blue-green. Off to the right, you're going to see like a little panel on the wall that has like arrows pointing in different directions. He punched it in on the computer key. That didn't work. He started from the area that the tree is, and he tried to go like down a path, up a path, and like did the directions that it was telling him. We got nothing for doing it. We have no idea what that's, if that is a secret or if that's just artwork.
I think most is just artwork at this point because I've tried everything.
And your character does draw attention to it, which has me wonder like, it feels like it's important if you're drawing attention to it, you know?
Yeah, he also draws attention to the campfire, but I think that's just a little thing. Of course, the campfire, you can make use of that. But anyway, so yeah, it just sucks that he's just gone. He just appears.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're playing it. Okay, we'll save that for later, actually. So let's go into the second plot point that really bothered me. So your character at times brings up like this necklace around his neck.
That you don't normally see.
You know, it glows blue, so it kind of gives like this very important, like, oh, it's important to him. It gives maybe some like divine protection of some sort.
Because it's colored in the same way, like when he smites the demons and creatures.
Yeah,
that it's like a holy blue light. Like the medallion gives off like that same color.
Yeah, and it's like I'm like, okay, so this is gonna come to play later. So it does. It gets stolen by a demon. And at first, it was a big deal to this guy, but then
he literally reached to grab the creature as it like melted into the sewer vents, and he was just like devastated, reaching in, and it's like, oh shit, they took something very serious, and then he tried seeing if he can find a way to freaking get down there and pursue that thing. There's no way to pursue it. You can't find it anywhere. He even checked the jeweler guy. He checked the beach. He checked certain areas, periodically. That thing is nowhere to ever be found. There's no way to get your medallion.
It's never really brought up again or used.
It's like it looked like it was like a holy protection that was given to him by somebody dear that loves him.
Yeah, and that's like the only time we ever see it again. I was like, okay, so now it's gonna come back to play because he's like, oh, I need that because without it, my luck is crap. Because after he loses it, he gets freaking miserable real fast. Like life,
like he becomes vulnerable and shit. Like bad stuff starts happening. Like, well, we're in spoiler territory, but bad stuff like happens to this guy. Like after that medallion is gone, I would think like if like they need to put in some resolutions of like maybe like options like. To probably give more than one ending, like if you get your medallion that protects you, certain stuff may not be as bad as what it is without it. Who the heck this guy is? Is he obviously? I believe he might be a threat or an ally, somebody, some type of closure. But yeah, what's the third one?
The third one is that scumbag who is prostituting young girls by drugging them.
Oh, the weasel
guy. So you meet him up that little bus thing. His finger gets cut off, and so then you meet him again. He's doing, of course, druggy, shady stuff again, and he runs away and. You guys, like, at the end, you actually kill the last so-called demon. You guys like, well, my job here is done. No, you still have that one guy to kill. He's still on the loose. He's still prostituting young women selling drugs. Take care of him.
And people that OD on his drugs, he just throws them in, like, a hole in the ground. And there's, like, a well filled with dead bodies of who knows how high.
Well, that's mostly Bowles doing, because the guy works on their bowel. But anyways, it's like he never comes back. You never really get satisfaction of killing the guy.
Yeah, he gets away again.
He gets away.
And you don't even pursue him, and he's a threat in himself.
And he's threatened himself, so it's like he knows about demons and stuff. Because clearly he has interacted with them multiple times.
He has the crazy glowing eyes.
Yeah, so
and his finger was brought back by
black magic.
Black magic, yeah.
And it was just like, what the heck? So those are the three plot points that are brought up and never addressed. Now, here's the thing. I can't confirm this, but...
It'd be nice, probably, you should say. It
would be nice if they're planning to do a sequel, if they're saying this, these plot points for the sequel, if they do plan to do a sequel, then okay then. But even still, then as it stands now...
The game doesn't feel...
feel finished. It doesn't
feel finished.
It feels like... This is one of my problems, like trying to do these type of stories, doing like these plot points. because you don't know if there will ever be a sequel, so you're left with this unfulfilled story. It's always best to make sure each of your installments has a resolution. The resolution puts an end to the story. If it does not, then go back and write a proper resolution. And here, which I guess is also fitting now to talk about the actual ending of the game, where, yes, it was great up till then. This is what really probably hurts me the most. Okay, besides the 3 plot points, this is probably what hurts it the most, is that...
The ending.
So you fight the one guy, T, who turns out to be revealed... Oh, crap, what was his name? Like, Thaumatus? Thaumatus. I don't know, something like that. It turns out he was an apostle as well. But he had a prophecy, he had a vision of Earth being a complete wasteland, and him just and them going towards it. Something about saying the apostles are forever too doomed to be suffering to protect these creatures that are on constantly putting themselves in harm's way out of stupidity or out of selfishness.
Basically, the villain's thing is saying that humans
need to go. They need to go.
Okay, instead of blaming the demons, blame the humans because they're weak enough to be manipulated by demons.
No, actually, no. The demons are the symptoms. The demons are the symptoms. Humans themselves, a lot of them, of course, by the business guy and some other people there, they are themselves are inherently evil. Yeah. And so the demons are drawn towards that evilness.
Oh, yeah.
So he was like, the only way to cure this planet and stop evil itself is to use evil to get rid of humans, essentially.
Yeah, so...
And so that way he can break the cycle, because himself, he's been going at this for so long that he's tired. He wants to rest. He doesn't want to do this. He feels like humans are just constantly throwing stuff in trouble. Because first it was like every century, every decade. Now it dropped from like every 100,000 years to 10,000 years to 2,000 years. And soon he says it's going to be every 50 years, and it's going to keep being,
worse and worse.
Worse and worse, that we're going to come back and have to help these humans instead of being able to stay in paradise with their loved ones. So, I understand his motivation. I do believe in making him sympathetic. And the guy, like we discussed earlier, all the demons, he was able to dispute that, like, no, you're just lying, you're manipulating, you're evil. You're taking, what you're doing is wrong. But this guy... he couldn't really do that. He tried to get back on the path of the heaven's way, but at the same time, he kind of understood what he was going through, because his life is right now going through hell, and and so he honestly, in times the character, I believe himself, questions it. Is this a mission, or is it more of a nightmare? So I understand the main villain's motivation. I do think it makes him sympathetic.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, overall good villain. I wish he was a bit more in the game, but... So, yeah, but after you fight this guy, you push him off a ledge, and you fall off a ledge with the guy, and your character seemingly dies with him, and then he just leaves with a line about blind prophet, or he'll never see how the world evolves now since your character dies, and the game just cuts to end. Cuts to end.
Like the ending, how the ending feels like the ending just started and then credits roll up.
Yeah.
It actually feels so short, it jars you. And at the end, you kind of feel confused and empty. That's why, like, Christian played through it a couple of times to try and see if there was different endings or what the heck happened. Because it like, everything was great up until, the 3 plot points. And then the moment the ending happened, it was like, wait a minute, what? Huh? It felt like they had a deadline, and then they had to cut things to make that deadline, and then it's like, okay, that put points against. That's how it feels. I'm not saying that is what happened, but that's how it feels. And, and this is why it brings us such pain.
Yeah, because overall, like
when we talk about the bad qualities, because it's like
game.
It
really is.
The art is beautiful. The music is great. The art direction is like
very well done.
Well done. The writing is funny. The grammar needs work, and little bugs and stuff needs to be fixed here and there. But like overall, it's really, really good. But the ending feels like this is how I feel like what would save the ending it should be a bittersweet. Yeah, he dies on top of the guy that was an apostle like himself. And I feel like what you should have seen as he died is maybe that caring loved one that is hinted throughout the game, come up to him and holds him dear because his journey is over. He's done his ultimate sacrifice. He has saved the world again. And she holds him dear and then like look up to the sky and have like the clouds parted and see like a beam of light leading up to like a shining star or something. He's done what he's done. Time to go home to heaven. Give that bittersweet resolution instead of him questioning who was right at the end. Will they destroy each other, or will those glimpses of hope be a thing? It is sad that I will not see it. Credits. It's like, wait, what? Like, I feel like this character deserved a little bit more camera time at the end and have a bittersweet than to just pull the plug so abruptly. And it leaves a bitterness in your mouth because it pulls the plug so abruptly.
Yeah, and that is such a huge
ending.
Disappointment. It's like, first the game was like, oh my god, this game is finally another point-and-click adventure game that's better than Deathmark. And I was like, I love Deathmark. Deathmark was my introduction to more of the visual novel, point-and-click adventure types. And by the way, that's a great game. 8 out of 10. If you haven't played it yourself, go. It's a great horror visual novel.
And the DLC.
And the DLC, which comes with it nowadays. So that's nice.
On PC.
Buy the game from PC because it's not censored, which is really stupid. That's a discussion for another day. Yeah. And it was like, yes, The Blind Prophet. At first I was like, oh, yeah, so far in the middle, like, oh, right, this game was probably going to get like a 9 out of 10. So on track on a 9 out of 10. But then those plot points weren't addressed, and the ending was like, plus I can't mention all the graphical errors and this and that. It's like, oh boy, it looks like Deathmark is still the best graphic novel visual game I played.
It just feels like this game
needs more time.
Needed more time, needed more fleshing out, needed more time to fix the bugs.
For the time, I thought we were playing the beta version, like the early beta, because I could have sworn on Steam it said it was going to come out in May. Like, okay, so this is the beta. They still have time to fix it. Yada, 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 yada. But no, this is the finished product. And when I check on YouTube when other people play it, the ending's exactly the same. They go through the same things that I do. I was like, oh. And then the game's out. You can buy it for $20. And I was like, oh, it needs a bit more. So they can patch, the graphical and some of the gameplay errors up. They can do that.
Yeah.
But for the story, that's going to need a big patch. Because as it stands, the story just feels incomplete at the end, especially with those plot points. Now, they do a sequel, and they address these plot points, fine, but still, I prefer a more complete story than one that just cuts certain parts out for sequel bait, essentially.
I would rather they patch it into this game and give you the option of going after those 3 plot points, and if you get them, you can unlock a better ending for your character. Maybe he doesn't die. Maybe he doesn't get as messed up as he does, to give more playability instead of just one playthrough. Give him the bittersweet ending, and then give him the ending where, he sticks around humanity a little longer before he goes away again, and have build maybe more of a relationship with the tattoo girl, before another adventure calls him elsewhere. That could have been a second ending, which would have been freaking awesome.
Yeah, there's plenty they could have done with the ending, but...
And then I wouldn't have minded of giving the game a 10 out of 10 at that point.
Also, I would probably just give the game still a 9 out of 10 at that point, because some of the problems, like the graphical error.
I'm saying if they fixed everything, if they gave us the plot points, if they fixed the ending, or give us more than one ending, if they fixed the bugs in the grammar, if they fixed everything that we've pointed out, it's like a masterpiece that isn't finished, and that's the part that breaks our heart, because we can see that there's a lot of love and attention, but it's like they were crunched for time. And I feel like people, you put the art first before the time.
Okay.
As much as people want to gripe, if you give them an experience, you will be known for it.
Okay, so here's the thing. This game does not need multiple endings. It needs a good resolution. That's what it needs.
But
they could have gone with it. No, give me a moment. I'll explain myself. Give me a moment.
Okay.
So, what the ending could have been, like you said, where he has that medallion. At some point in the story, he gets his medallion necklace thing back. And, he dies at the end. Sadly, he still dies. And he goes to heaven, yada, 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 for his next mission or whatsoever. That would have been a good resolution. They don't need other endings. That ending would have been perfect. But the ending that we did get is unsatisfying. It's too short. It's shallow. It's bitter. So it's just like, maybe at this point, that's what I was thinking. Okay, maybe there is a second ending I'm missing. Maybe there is the true ending, but there isn't. And that's the problem. They could have gone with the one ending that just wraps everything up nicely in a little bow, but they didn't. So I thought there was a second ending, but there isn't. So it just leaves as a bitterness, unfulfilling thought. Like, Deathmark has 2 endings, and both endings are satisfying. I'm not going to spoil them, but...
And even the DLC endings are
definitely
awesome
DLCs.
too.
Like, I wanted more after playing that DLC. I wanted more of that game.
I want a number 2. I love all the characters.
Yeah, I love it, yeah. But there's NG+, which we will play very soon. But yeah, it's just like... I want a sequel, but at the same time, I'm just like...
If they didn't plan on a sequel, fulfill this one. This one feels
like if you don't plan to do a sequel, then patch this up. Fix the story, give us the resolution to the story plot lines at least. Or, at least have an extra scene real quick of the guy. Maybe he trips and falls and breaks his neck because he's such a scumbag. And at some point, he meets that one guy again, gets his neck medallion back. Or maybe that one guy can give his medallion back, wrap up both.
Or like we thought that maybe the creature would have dropped it, it would have washed up on the beach, find it there. Or that it made it to the jeweler guy, and then you can buy it back.
Something to patch.
Something.
If they can patch that up, fix just at least that, I would happily give this game like a 9 out of 10. But with that as it currently stands, or right now, as this recording, as this review, as it currently stands, I cannot give that rating.
And that's the thing that breaks our heart.
Because I really do want to give a high rating. I do. Yeah. But I am so torn on what rating I want to give it. It's not going to get a low one. I'm not going to say it's low. But I'm either torn between a 6 or a 7. I'm torn between the two. On one hand, the majority of the story is great. The characters are really well done. The story's strong for the most part. The world is very well drawn out. The atmosphere, the coloring, the interaction, the chemistry. It's really good. The gameplay itself is serviceable. There's a lot of gameplay variety to work with. And the music is very nice too. It's just that ending and those 3 plot lines. Of course, as you mentioned, all those graphical errors as well. And then also
the grammar errors.
Bugs. It's just, it brings it down. And so it's like, 7, I enjoyed most of my time, but the thing was, there's no real reason to go back to it now. There's no real reason.
That's why I suggested a multi-ending. So give it a little bit more life expansion.
Yeah, so I'm really torn between the 2 numbers. I guess...
What is a 6.5 would be easier for you?
I don't do points. No, I gotta decide on a number. So if I had to go with a rating, I'm going to give this game at least a 7 because I did enjoy most of it. I did do that. I was never bored with it. I enjoyed my time with it. It's just that ending, those plot lines, just hold it back. I can live with the graphical errors, the grammar errors, and stuff like that. I can live with that. It's just the plot, the ending, and those 3 plot lines need to be addressed. If they can address those, I'm happy to bump this game up to like a 9 out of 10. I'm happy to do that. But as I said,
if they fix everything, I would give it a 10 out of 10.
So that my rating is a 7. What would you give it?
I would probably give it the same.
A 7?
Yeah, I would. Like you, I'm torn between the 6 and the 7 because it's like. You could feel the passion, but then you gotta give it. You gotta be honest and give it. That tough love of the fact that it's just like it needed to cook more. You put the clock before the art, and that's what hurt it.
Yeah, so that's a bummer.
That's what it feels like. Yeah, at least. And it's like.
Yeah, I mean, this game still has the potential of making it on the top 10 list of the year for me, but.
Yeah,
as this year goes on, who knows? I may find other games that do a better job than this one. And heck, we're gonna play that I think that NG Plus game came out this year, I believe. No, it came out last year, but
We haven't played it, so...
We haven't played it yet, which I'm really looking forward to that. So, yeah, I guess we'll just call it good here and wrap it up.
But beautiful artwork. Great try. I don't want the artists and anybody to be discouraged. What drew us in was the passion. It's just that you put the passion first before the time, because if I mean, all our ideas that we're offering to you is to
I don't want them to stop. I don't want them to stop.
No,
I want them to keep going. I want them to make more games. I want them to keep improving. If this is their first game, it's a great start.
Holy crap! Yeah, what an entrance.
But like I said, just iron out the plot and the ending, and of course iron out the bugs and the grammatical errors and here and there.
And then it'd be outstanding.
So before we repeat ourselves again, 7 out of 10, overall great game. Check it out. It's only $20. It's only 20.
I mean, the characters are alone. Checking them out, and the individuals, it's worth checking out. But just expect the things that we've told you, that we warned you about, that's in the game.
Mm-hmm.
But if you can go past all that just to see what happens to this character and how it happens, I would suggest yes. And it is a great comic book world type style. I absolutely love the black, deep, thick, shadowy lines, the bright colors that pop certain things about. Like, the art direction in this game is beautiful.
Yeah, so we'll just leave it there. Check it out. It's only $20. Right now it's on sale. As it's recording, it's 10% off, so it's like $17 or so.
It's worth a rent.
If there was a rental, I could definitely say give this game a shot.
Like what I mean by a rent is it's worth playing at least once through. It's great.
Yeah, like kind of like with Moons of Madness. I said just play it through once. You're kind of just done with it afterwards.
That's what I mean by rent. Just play it once, get the experience, and then. But if they can fix it in...
So we'll just wrap it up there. If you stuck around for this actually quite short podcast compared to the rest, because it's just purely just a review, mostly. So thanks for joining us. I hope to see you guys next time. See ya.
Yeah. Bye.